MBU baseball season preview here on the Spartan Digital Network. Man needs no introduction, but that's Eddie Uschold, longtime head coach here at Missouri Baptist. And Eddie, let's talk a little bit about the season. Obviously here in the Midwest, you can see kind of in the background here, a lot of snow on the ground. It's cold. It's a little challenging this early in the season for your team to really get going.
Yeah, no question, but this year has been a little different. I mean, this is the first week we haven't been able to get on the field. We've held 4 scrimmages on the field, and we've gotten outside a lot this year. So I feel like we're in a good spot this year, but this week it's been kind of, we're not going to get on the field before we take off for Millington tomorrow morning. So.
Right. Preseason, you guys are picked second behind Columbia. You know, obviously you voted on that and all that stuff. Just kind of break down quickly the conference for us, with Columbia being first, you guys second, William Woods.
Well,
CBC.
Columbia's got some players coming back. You know, they've got their shortstop, they got their catcher, they're both quality, good players. They got and Darren and Boomer do a great job over there. So they won it last year. I'm sorry, they finished second last year and they made the postseason. So they deserve to be there. I feel like definitely positionally we have as good a team as we've had since we've been to the World Series 4 seasons ago, 5 years, but 4 seasons ago. And so I feel like we're in that mix if we can do a good job on the mound, which I feel like we have potential to do that. We get some guys healthy here in the next couple of weeks. I think we could be that team, but we'll figure that out as the season goes on. And I think John Cavanis has done a great job over at William Woods, and I thought they had a really nice team last year, and they're not losing much. And so, and you know, Lyon is going through the transition, so going through the transition to go in Division III, and they won't be in our conference. So a lot of all their best players. Right. Moved on to other schools. A lot of them sought another place to play. So, and Coach Repke's gone. So they're going through a bit of a transition there. And down at Central Baptist, Aaron always does a nice job of getting his guys ready to play. So, yeah, I think it's going to be, you know, it's going to come down to who can win some series. And unfortunately, last year we won 2 out of 3 from all the top teams, and we lost some series to teams we didn't feel like we should have lost to. And so that put us in a tough spot. But I think we have as good a chance as any if we play well, if we do the things we can to be a team that's going to be there at the end.
Yeah, lost some of your top hitters, especially power hitters in the lineup from last year. A couple of your good starters from last year, but you're replacing it with a lot. What do you think are the strengths of this team right now?
Oh, I think the strengths is that positionally, we up and down the lineup, we're going to be much more difficult out. We're going to be more athletic, and we're definitely going to play better defensively. I think positionally, like I said, I think we're as good as we've been since 2017. We have some returners coming back. Alex is going to have a full year underneath his belt as shortstop. And I don't think people really saw the full Alex Adams yet. When they see him this year, he's an outstanding player. And Cesar Soto is a first-team all-conference guy coming back. We feel like we've replenished at the catcher position. We brought in 2 guys that we think are as good, if not better, than what we've had last year. And Noah Hemphill is healthy and in better shape than he's ever been in. If we have had him last year, we lost him in the first game of the season last year. And we feel like we've plugged in. And Tommy Patrick's back. And Tommy Patrick had a solid year, not quite the year he had hoped for, but he had a good year last year, and he's ready to break out. And Blaine Bessie was a second-team all-conference selection last year, so he's going to be back. We have Blaine Yarger going to be running around center field and hopefully closing off games for us. Is probably one of the best position players recruited in the region this year. And we got a guy like DJ Schmidt who just is down there grinding all the time, trying to get base hits, doing whatever we need to do. So I really like the makeup of where we're at positionally. I think we have what we need on the mound. It's going to be hard. We're not going to replace Mason Palmiere. We're not going to replace Matt Hess. But we do have guys returning, and Micah Diamond, who was, I think, a second or honorable mention last year. And then we have guys that we brought in that we like a lot. We just haven't, we've played against some other teams in the fall, but we haven't seen them under duress yet. And I think when we see them under duress, I think we're going to be happy with it, but it's still kind of like, okay, what are we going to get out of them? We feel good about it, but if they pitch the way we think they can pitch, I feel like we're going to have as good a team as we've had quite in a while.
And it's always the question, you know, they talk about it at the major league level. I'm sure it's the same at the collegiate level. This early in the season, are pitchers ahead of hitters, hitters ahead of pitchers? Do you not know yet as far as, you know, readiness for the season?
It's a great question. And I think We're trying to figure that out because basically our pitchers and our hitters, all they've done is seen each other.
Right.
So, you know, when you're going through the 6th dinner squad in the last 3 weeks, this past weekend, the pitchers know, you know, they think they got an idea, but the hitters have seen everything you got.
Yeah.
And they've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job at kind of managing through that. So I think there's a lot of different factors. I'd like to feel like the traditional thing is pitching's ahead of the hitting, but we were outside 4 times, so I think we'll be in a good place offensively. And pitching-wise, the thing that's funny is like Friday's going to be probably a pretty cold game, and people always talk about they don't really look at the numbers. When games are cold, the scoring numbers generally go up because the pitchers can't do the things they want to do with the baseball. Yeah. And so, you know, we'll see what happens, but I like where we're at. I mean, KG's done an awesome job preparing the offensive end of things, and Matty Huss has done a great job with the pitchers, and I think we're ready to go. And we'll see what happens on Friday.
Yeah, Friday it gets underway. You guys play a couple of games against Culver Stockton, then it's Faulkner and Bethel on Saturday. Just talk a little bit about this trip to Tennessee and what you're going to see when you're down there.
Well, Brad Jorkis is over at Culver Stockton. I think this is his 3rd, maybe 4th year, and he's an alum. And he's working really hard there. And they've got a couple guys in the lineup that are very good. Their guy played shortstop for them last year. I think he's moving to the outfield this year. He's a good player. And they got a kid behind the plate who's very good catcher, plus arm, and he's got a little bit of pop. And so those 2 guys are going to concern you offensively. And I think he's brought in, from what I'm understanding, he's brought in a couple arms that are better than what we saw last year. So I'm sure we'll see one of those guys. Not sure who, we'll probably see 2 of them. Not sure who that's going to be, but they're going to play hard. And then the second day, you know, I've known Patrick down at Faulkner for a long time, and they're going to be very, very good.
Number 6 in the country.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see top end. We'll see a top end arms, and you know, if you make a mistake, they're very aggressive. Faulkner's going to do whatever they can to move guys around the bases. They're going to bunt. They're going to run, and they're going to hit the ball in the park. They do a lot of different things, and so they'll be very good. And then Bethel, we played them here last year toward the end of the season, and Rusty's done a nice job, and they've got a lot of guys coming back. And he had a nice season last year. And I think he feels confident with all of his guys coming back. And there's a lot of guys coming back to be able to play. So we'll see. I like our 4 guys that we got going against those guys. We're going to kind of figure out what we got in our bullpen that first couple weekends. And you know, we'll see what happens. We're down a couple arms going into the weekend. We don't have Micah Diamond's not going to be available. He's close, but we're not going to push it. And 2 guys that we've brought in that we think are going to be big-time arms for us, they're close also, but we're not pushing them right now. So we're hoping to get 4 out of 5 out of our starters, 4 to 5. And then kind of work it from there. And we got plenty of guys that can come in. And we feel like we have plenty of guys that can come in and get some outs.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
Great to have him.
Eddie Uschold, the head baseball coach here at Missouri Baptist. Stay tuned to the brand new Instagram account we put together for the MBU baseball team, as well as MBUSpartans.com for updates. Obviously, the weather is going to probably play havoc with the season throughout the year, we know, so we're going to be putting updates out there. But thanks for joining us on the preview show for MBU baseball.